Okay, so welcome to Fear, Porn, Propaganda. I'm Wisecraft, and today I'm here with Haplo. So
Yo.
what's going on, Haplo?
Oh, not much. Intolerable heat. Where I'm at least. I guess topic for today is the Cern. The big question. Everybody wants to know what this thing really is. Are they telling us the truth about what they're doing and what's really going on? I think that's kind of the basic questions. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I just there's a lot of theories that fly around. I mean, I've come across many theories about what this thing is, but I mean, for all we know, it could be what they're saying it is. Maybe they're just pissing around with something, and they just want to crash some stuff into each other at the speed of light and see what happens. You know, is it dangerous? Yes. Humanity and the propensity to kill themselves? Yes. We're always doing dangerous, stupid things. Now, this doesn't surprise me. But what surprises me is that a lot of top, scientists, with a lot of notoriety, are saying we need to slow down on this. But people aren't listening. They're actually trying to speed this up. That tells me something right then in itself. When there's like Tyson and Hawking are saying, "Whoa, we need to think about this before we jump in with both feet without looking." And everybody's saying, "Here's more money. Get this thing going faster." Really? Okay. So that makes me think there's something else behind this, because that's suspect. If it was a let's just put it in the eyes of the justice system. if there was an investigation going on and this type of activity was going on, say in some organized crime, syndicate, and this same scenario just transplanted on that, there would be some cause that there's something going on that they're not telling us. So it's different.
Yeah, and
And
you have to look at what they are telling us too, because
exactly.
we always have to read between the lines of what they do tell us.
Hmm.
And the way they tell us is very kind of cryptic and scripted. It's like they use logical fallacies, and they're trying to kind of have you understand their models in a kind
Yes.
of quasi three-dimensional reality version of reality.
Right. That's pretty much it. And
Because none of the stuff they tell us is actual factual stuff.
no, no, you go and look at it and you're like, what the hell is that? And what, with I studied the esoteric things, like the Masons, for instance, Satanism, all forms of occultism. You got Rosicrucians, and in my discoveries, I have seen that symbolism is their language. And with shots, if I could actually find them, I've been looking for them, I can't find them. But I've had found some pictures that were taken of people in Cern in the tubing areas, and around and underground in different places. And amazingly enough, all over the place in the background are symbols I have seen before. They're related to the Masons. They're Masonic symbols all over the place. And I'm going,
Of
really?
course,
It
right?
it's not the common compass. It's not the original Masonic symbol. It's other symbology that is used in the Masonic order. So that's what really got me curious. As I first caught that, I was looking at something about CERN. I wasn't paying much attention to it, and I just happened to see something in the background. And I'm like, what the? So I downloaded the picture, blew it up, and looked at it, and I said, "I'll be damned." Damn, I think I know where they're getting their money from and getting this push from. There's a lot of different societies out there, and we don't know who they really are because they keep changing names. They're like chameleons. They keep hiding. Some people call them the Illuminati. I flat out call them Satanists. They're Luciferian. That's what they are. And I believe that they're the ones that are truly behind this. And I think they're trying to open up something, a gateway, a doorway to another realm. I think they're trying to bring something in or go somewhere else. I'm not sure what the real want and desire is, but I think that's at least my hypothesis of what's going on.
I
But
see.
I just don't have my stuff together to actually pull anything up and actually just throw it out there. So I'm digging around in my incredibly, well,
Well,
let's just
my
say,
understanding so far is they started it like on the 23rd, and it takes a long time to power it up to full capacity before they actually start doing testing results.
right.
And that's going to be started in May, from what I've seen.
But also, I think that they're doing. I think they've actually already run the thing at full capacity at certain times. They're telling us one set of dates and actually doing it either earlier or later than the dates. And what I am looking for now, I'm trying to find it again, is the occult, the occultic holidays, if you will, special days and times of observance of the occult, and seeing if I can find any correlation anywhere. If they say such and such date, but it falls within that same week, I'm going to have to wonder, because they don't have to tell us. I mean, they're a country to their own. They can do whatever the hell they want. They could run that bastard 24/7 for all we know. They could be down there sacrificing babies for all we know. I mean, this is their own little island paradise where there is no jurisdiction and no law.
Well, I
That
consider
would,
all that a possibility as well.
yeah,
Yes.
there's something strange going on. Did you see the information that came out about that little video about these people dancing and doing this dance to Shiva and all that
Yeah,
stuff that came out recently?
I wonder if we could like pull that up and like show people.
We probably could.
Do you know
I
what it was
think.
called?
Oh, so I'm doing. I'm going through. I have such a horrible way of actually. Well, I don't put stuff
I came
together and
across it
organized.
like I think like a week before they actually turned it on.
Let's see. Let me see. I'm looking for it now. Oh, for the love of it. We have particle fever.
It was
Here it
like
is.
a video.
Symmetry.
Yeah,
Symmetry is
that's
what
it.
it's called. It's right here. I've got it. You want me to send a link your way?
Yeah, and I can
Well, wait a
screen
minute.
share.
Wait.
Or can you screen share?
This is Truth Media Revolution. They've got one here. I'm actually on my one of my other devices. I'm not on my PC.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
then send it to
yeah,
me and I'll try to screen share it.
yeah.
Send
Let's
it
see what
in
I.
uh
You want you want the
up in the
original
chat on the
video?
side. Throw it there.
You want the
What?
original video that Cern put out? Is that what you want to see, or do you want to see something from another site describing what they think about it?
No, let's just do the originals and we'll turn it down so we can like describe it while we're watching
That's
it.
what I'm thinking. Just wanted to be sure.
Um, I opened the chat on the right. Just put it in there and I'll grab it. And does anybody understand how to get out there like the chat from the YouTube? I don't understand how to set up the YouTube chat. Somebody can tell me in the comment section. That would be greatly appreciated. Do you know how to do it, Haplo?
Hey guys, TMR.
No, I have not really played with this too much. This is all kind of new to me.
Okay.
You're actually one of the few people, and anybody else who would listen to this actually gets to hear what my voice sounds like.
Well, now a lot of people, they got like 6 viewers. So, what's the
I am trying to find. Here it is. They've got it under Vimo. Share. which is what the year are. Copy link address. Thank you.
So anyway, other than that, there's also the implications of time travel, you know, because essentially if they're sending particles at close to the speed of light, that could be the forefronts of understanding time travel itself. And think of Cern as a piece of the puzzle of time travel. So if you go back to the beginning of when Cern was created, that could be the idea of the first time machine. And you can go all the way back to that time using Cern once it figures out time travel.
Yeah.
As far as what you're talking about, that's more like dimensional travel. And we could be talking about parallel universes, because we do know that 1 out of 1,000,000 times they smash particles together, they actually get antimatter.
There you go. You got. I
bit.
just sent you the link.
Okay. Where'd you put it?
Oh, I sent it in a little chat window.
Oh, okay. Not on the side, and the other one, huh?
Yeah, sorry. It was the first one I came across.
That's right.
We got so many ways to communicate now that it's getting confusing.
It does get confusing. This is true. Through the windows and all that. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I got it. So grab that. Okay, so then I'm gonna try to screen share. I haven't done this yet, so.
Oh, this is we'll just call this the live version of experimentation.
There you go.
And the easy way is if people have a bad comment they want to leave, don't. Just stop listening and go away.
Okay, so are you seeing this?
Let me see. Yes. Anybody that's logged in can see that, I believe.
Awesome. Okay, so now I'll make this big screen, and we could talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I wanted to turn it down. How do you do that? There's no volume. Oh, is that it? Yeah, there we go. I got the volume down. Okay, so. No, wait, that's kind of. Well, we could still hear it, but.
Well, really, the sound really doesn't matter. It's just music. It's really what the people are doing.
There we go.
In this.
Okay, so look, there was a ring right there. Did you see that?
Yes.
Okay, wait. Let's go back to here. Okay, so they're right here. See how that's like totally a Saturn representation.
Yes, it is. Yeah, you got to link in with the 666, the Saturn, Shiva.
Okay, he has this look of confusion, right? These are supposed to be particles dancing around the nucleus.
Yep.
Pretty much. Okay, there's another one, another ring representation. What happened? Oh, it like paused or something.
That's just freezing up.
Yeah, I guess.
The wonderful technology. This is where I have a problem with transhumanism.
But like, look at how big this is, right? I mean, someone had to, go underground, like literally drill out all this area. And I've heard about these type of devices that actually melt whatever's in front and push it to the side.
Yes, I've seen that, and I do truly believe
that's what created this.
Yeah. I went out to a place called Dulce, out and around, and kind of explored around where I could, and I truly believe that they have a network of underground facilities all over, deep underground military bases.
Oh, well, there you go. So you've actually experienced this.
Oh yeah, I saw ventilation shafts. I had a guide take me out and show me around. I didn't do any. Nobody wanted me to do any recording or anything like that, so I just asked questions. I was personally curious. Had a vacation and decided to just go piss around and do that. And Dulce's been, on the radar for a while. I also been down to Arkansas, where I believe that there is an entrance to the entrance to a facility as well. And I think they have I think there is a system that runs underground, a train rail system, and they do have the ability to dig out these, like you were talking about, perfect, hollowed out, um, spherical holes in the ground with this machine that they've got, which I can't remember the name of it right now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've
But
seen the patents on it.
so
It
anyway,
seems feasible to me.
yeah. But these people here, man, this one when I watched this, and actually it correlates to
Oh, okay, right
rituals.
here where there's falling in like the void.
Yeah, that's
That's
like,
like
yeah,
represented by part of the, after the once this thing's on, pretty much, right? I mean,
yeah.
that's what this is kind of saying.
I call that the
That's what I
abyss.
see, at least.
I call it
Yeah.
the abyss.
And then he's in the center. I mean, he's in the center, but there's someone in the center
Well, that's
with the
black and white,
machine.
and that's
And again,
representing of duality right
you got
there.
a Saturn reference right here too.
Hmm. Exactly. There's always more than one meaning to everything.
And electron, right?
Yeah, that's
But yeah,
the
duality. Duality is
yeah.
always what these cult people portray. I've been
Mm.
noticing. It's always about duality, representation at once. So it's
Yep.
not like showing you one of the dualities, just
Well,
showing you both of them at the same time.
this
And this is
is
what that is.
another example of what I have found out in the occult world. That even the elite people that I believe that are involved in this, very high levels, very wealthy people, they have a very interesting morality within their own ranks. They swear by this, and I have found with the studies in witchcraft at the lower levels all the way to the high black magic, practitioners of black magic, they have to tell you what they're going to do before they do it.
It's called lesser magic.
Yes, and so that doesn't mean that they have to just put a report out on the nightly news and tell you what's going on. They can tell you in any way they want.
Anyway, right? And they could do it in fiction.
Exactly.
So they can like get people in those organizations, get involved in those processes, and then set it up, like become the producers of the program like this, and then basically reach the masses on a kind of
That's
spell
right.
type of level.
That's right. I believe that
But
this
really,
is.
it's subconscious, like MK Ultra programming that they've
Yes.
adapted over time.
Yeah. Well, what I believe is actually is key for me to understanding a lot of things is that uh, we
Now
as
we got two people in the
individuals,
void.
exactly,
That's
that
the
we
duality fighting each other.
we as human beings actually create our own reality as we go, but we're not taught this.
They're
The only
separating.
thing, the only way that we're taught this is if we would go and join with some group in the esoteric realm. Then they teach you this. This is this, like the 33 degrees that you go through with the
Well, you got
Masons.
5 here, right? Flying in
Yep,
the air. That's the star. That's the
yep.
pentagram, the pinnacle, whatever you want to call it. Uh, I found that if you look at, I mean, just side note, if you look at, you know, like fast food restaurants and like buildings associated with like supermarkets and such, you always find the star, right?
Absolutely.
And that is essentially, aside from the esoteric representation, in our world, it represents sovereignty. So those people are declaring sovereignty,
I think it's
essentially.
a representation of some
Well, not
people.
those people, but I mean the building.
I think some families, if you will, that consider themselves bloodlines. that have traced their bloodlines for centuries
Yeah.
have different symbols they use. If you take, for instance, Mercedes has a 3-point star. If you take, for instance, you've got the 5-point star, you've got the 6-point star, you've got an 8-point star. You've got many different symbols that are used, and I believe that that is a representation of a what they consider a deity. That is one of the things that is hidden that people don't know about at low levels, but learn as they move up in the ranks, like Manly P. Hall and Aleister Crowley. They know that these are representations of what they would call deities and what I would call demigods, gods with a little g.
Right.
That's kind of how I've seen it. And this is their symbolism. They stamp it all over the place saying, this is mine, this is ours. It's kind of like a mafia style thing all over the world. They have etched out their little piece, and this is their territory. This is what they do.
Yeah, that's agreed. It does seem that that's the case. And everything around kind of seems to point that direction. But the
Mm-hmm.
key is to not get caught up into it because, that's how they use you against yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's so many things that are thrown out to sidetrack people from seeing the reality, the truth. See, that's what people are looking for now, because I think it's become, for a lot of people, very evident that we are not being told the truth. And we are living in a world of lies. And it's becoming so blatant that we're being lied to. In some areas, people are just in amazement and wonder that other people aren't seeing this. Are you serious? You actually still think that this is all hunky dory? Like this is like the good old days in the early 1900s, and nothing's ever changed? No, no. This. Things have changed, and you see the fight back from the media agencies that are owned by 6 different corporate entities. 6 corporations own all of the media outlets that pretty much cover the world. It's amazing, and they're scripted, and they tell us what they want us to hear. And that's it. They control us, like you said. That's like a programming to keep people off track, to keep us sidetracked. In a sense, this is kind of like in Rome, the Colosseum, but on a global scale and using technology. We're
Right.
being kept sidetracked while people go and just do whatever they want, however they want, use all of our money and our resources to do whatever they want. And they don't tell us one thing about it. And all they do is just give us, sensitive, top secret, and we can't tell you what's going on, but we're using your money. Thank you for giving it to us. you
Right.
know, and people are starting to question this. I myself started questioning this back in the early 90s. I started going, what is going on? I know that this isn't real. I knew that what was being told as reality wasn't reality. It was like sheep herding. I looked at the world around me and saw people being herded like sheep, and it was disgusting to me. And that's really, I started, rebelling at first, and then going all the way from nihilism, working my way all the way to where I'm at now, and having figured out that then truly this is what's happening. And really the nihilistic, atheistic, anarchist movements are just another control mechanism. That's just, the ISIS is another control mechanism. Control people with fear,
Exactly.
divide them and conquer. How would you keep a world population of
And
nearly
essentially,
7 billion
our
people?
government created ISIS.
Yes, yeah, that's
Without
a
making
whole
it
other topic
part of it.
there. But how do you keep people sidetracked? Well, you keep them divided. Tell black people that white people are doing bad things to their communities, and tell white people that black people are coming in and stealing stuff from your community.
Yeah, and then you have the race war.
You have a race war, and then you can sit there and go, good, we can go do what we're doing without having anybody poking around in our business while they go over and kill each other.
Yeah, exactly. And that seems like the ultimate goals in this situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the Georgia Guidestones kind of tells us a little bit. There is some entity out there, a mindset that says that we need to reduce the population to 500 million. And it does seem that through GMOs, through all types of different devices that are
Welcome,
planted
Papa.
in.
Sorry, I was just welcoming Papa.
No problem. We're being systematically killed off. I mean, it's well known and been known for a long time. Let's just say, for instance, let me pull something out of the air. Statins used to reduce cholesterol literally do exact opposite of what they are told that they do. They kill you. The statins are what are shortening lifespans. All of these pharmaceuticals that are being passed off, none of them do anything as that they are said that they do. Right. You know, we're almost like guinea pigs to people. We're being killed off. The food that we're eating is being genetically modified by large companies like Monsanto that have like very dark, nefarious entities behind them, and we can eat tons and tons of genetically modified organisms and still gain no nutrients out of them. So we're starving to death while we're eating. It's just, how far down does this go? I honestly think that my father, my grandparents, and my great-grandparents sold me out. They sold my future for a comfortable life. They bought into the lie. And for a comfortable life, for a short lifespan, they sold our future. Yeah. And now we're being cold. The masses are being cold. We're goyim.
Yeah, I found out that my great-grandfather on my dad's side was a Freemason. I'm not sure what degree, but it was in it 25 years because I found a 25-year anniversary thing.
Yeah. Usually if somebody's in it that long, they're pretty high up in the chain. If they haven't made it into billionaire status or anything like that, they probably were in the 30s somewhere and didn't really have a lot of knowledge. They just did
stuff for them.
They did stuff for them, and they got the kickbacks that they got to have a nice retirement plan, and they got to live a nice cushy life.
Right.
Without having any harassment.
And this is the earliest 20th century, anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, all of this stuff relates. CERN, everything interconnects. Let's say for what is it? Bohemian Grove. What is it? Those.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember the little symbol on it. Those who what is it? Weave, spider webs.
You know what's weird?
Do not enter here.
Check this out, Haplo. My last name is Wise, right?
Oh, so, Weiss. You're German.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it goes by Wise, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So like that represents like one with wisdom, and it's represented by the owl.
Exactly. Yes.
So like as I was growing up, I was getting pushed owls on me. Because of my last name.
Yep.
See, so but I didn't realize until I got older and was able to do research that that owl symbol was greatly connected to the Bohemian Club.
Yep. Here's what I was looking for. Weaving spiders come not here. So basically they go and talk the truth with each other. All these power players that are manipulating our lives. And once they leave there, they go back to spinning their webs of deceit and control and whatever else, all the evils that come with it, outside of this Bohemian Grove. I mean,
yeah.
It's just,
they are obviously doing like a cremation of care ritual, which is an ancient ritual.
Yeah.
A effigy, and the effigy actually sounds like a person screaming, possibly a child.
The image in itself is actually of Moloch. Or
yeah,
Molech.
is the owl
Yep.
in their culture, but Moloch is also a bull.
Yes.
In other
It was represented. Representation differs, and it can be represented differently at different times because it changes. But it was the Canaanites. If you've ever read the Bible, the Canaanites worshipped Moloch, and it was also would be an
right, and
owl, and at some points would
the
exactly
Phoenicians
would
and the
be a
Canaanites
bull.
both honored
Yeah.
Saturn as their god.
Exactly that, and all you know what, and a lot of people actually, I've kind of started thinking that the Phoenicians and the Babylonians are actually were one and the same. I think
Well,
that,
yeah,
yeah, because there's a
that
lot of
seems a little like
similarities.
accurate because the Babylonians were a mixed meld of all of those ancient cultures.
Yep. What happened? What the Babylonians did that were very famous for is they would go in and conquer a land, and take people, like the mass majority of people from that land, and move them to the capital city and leave the low end and less educated people there to do their bidding. And they would put in a person to oversee the land under their authority. And so they basically mixed up all of these cultures. And I mean, it was like churning them around over and over and over again. It was one of their most things they're the most famous for, amongst other things, is doing that. In as it goes on. But I've kind of started making these connections between the Phoenicians and the Babylonians and started realizing that I believe the Babylonians and the Phoenicians were actually one and the same. And the Phoenicians were all over the world long before people think they were. And even our own alphabet, the English alphabet, is based on the Phoenician alphabet. And as it goes on, and then all of the esoteric connections, the Freemasons, the Rosicrucians, all of these secret societies link themselves with the Phoenicians.
Right.
And the
And
practices.
the Phoenicians created the color purple.
Exactly. Yep. It was, I believe,
and that's why it's
snail.
like connected to royalty.
Yep. Yeah, that's where we got the royal purple. I think, if I'm correct, it was a snail, and they discovered how to do that, I think that's what it was, and they created this purple that nobody had ever seen before, and that, amongst other things, was something they were very popular
It
for
was
in
the
trade.
inside of a shell of a type of sea creature that was deep in the ocean, and they had to dive for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was rare.
Yeah. I just, it's kind of hard to put together the pieces. It's like a jigsaw puzzle that has about 400 trillion pieces.
There is no purple. I mean, the only time you ever see purple is like a tropical island with a flower or something.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. We've got so much thrown at us right now that it's hard to try to put all of this together, because one can go down one path and spend an entire lifetime searching one of the tendrils that is connected to the beast, and figure out everything there is about that one tendril. But there are thousands of other tendrils. So you're kind of a
beast system researcher, right?
Yes. Yes, I really am. I figured out a few things.
New World Order researcher, but we come to the same conclusion of Saturn.
They're the same. New World Order and the beast system are the same thing.
Yes.
Well, it's different names for them.
It leads to the same thing. It's like you said, like an octopus, or like like that type of creature which has tentacles.
Have you ever seen Marvel's Agents of Marvel, or whatever it is?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Right.
That's it. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
They're the Nazis. They're showing us that they're the Nazis, and they're basically gonna take over from the inside. It did a foreshadowing on the movie. If you watch that movie, Winter Soldier,
yeah, I've seen it.
They take over from the inside, and essentially S.H.I.E.L.D's the government.
Exactly.
So basically saying that they're in the government and they're going to reveal themselves soon.
Yep. And I think
And once
that,
they reveal themselves, it's all bets are off because.
yep.
And, but the movie portrays the idea that some of them are going to rebel against themselves. And I
Yes.
really don't see that as a reality unless we wake those people up, because those people are under some sort of trance.
Hmm.
And they've
And
been bred for it. If you've ever looked into uh, the sexual abuse type of stuff,
yes.
like that's associated with what do you call it, like ritual abuse, then you
Yep.
come to like research of Svali, and
Hmm.
Svali talks about her own growing up as a child and like living with these people called the
Hmm.
cult. She called them the cult, but basically they were essentially the cult that we talk about,
Yeah.
the cult of Saturn.
Yep.
So her understanding was she was programmed to program other people. So eventually, she called it training, right? But like in what we would call like brainwashing, and then what do you call it when after you brainwash somebody, you put information into them?
No, that'd be programming.
Reprogram. Right.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, reprogram.
reprogramming them.
So,
Yeah.
so
Break
then
them
she
down
was a
and build them back up
reprogrammed
your own way.
individual. Yeah, and so you have to think that these people that are working for them are born into the system. They are kind of like from Nazi families,
Hmm.
and they've like bred out their kind of emotional kind of contact. So they basically, um, you have to understand that they don't understand what they're doing. You have to kind of wake them up to that experience. You have to show them that it is not what you want to be doing. It doesn't lead you to a positive outcome. Because these people think that everything they're doing is good and it's going to lead to good things, and you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
you have to kind of understand that these people are kind of hypnotized, and you have to break their programming.
Yeah. And
And
sometimes
once their program is broken, then we can actually have a revolution.
uh,
Those people will rebel against themselves.
well, one thing that a lot of what they've been doing and have done is have basically a suicide command built in, that if you try to break their programming and they have too much information that's too risky to let go, they'll just kill themselves
Yeah,
and
I
be
know
done
of
with
that
it.
one too. Yes,
Yep.
but that's bred into them way early on in life, like
Yep.
when they're a child. So like they have to break their childlike programming in order to get through that. They have to
Yep.
realize that once they say something and nothing happens, they're free.
Yep.
It's
I
only when
just
they were like younger and their parents were looming over them when they weren't free. So then they had to obey those things. And once
yes.
they broke free from that, they thought that, oh, well, I'm still under that pressure
Yeah. Yep.
because
Yeah.
they are being watched. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I've
And no,
got I've got people in my life that are like that. They grew up with high-ranking, uh, members of the Masonic Order, and they're literally from the grave. Their parents still run their mind. I mean, it is just amazing. And I mean, I don't, and how many people I've told this to, that they are gone now, and that you do not have to adhere to what your dad or your mom told you was so. There is something outside of the box that your mind was put in. And a lot of them look at me and go, "What are you talking about, a box?" They don't get it. They don't even realize that their mind had a box built around it from early childhood.
yeah, exactly. And you have to, and there's like basically over time those boxes, the box sides or the box sides become walls
Exactly.
of
And it
lies
closes
that
in.
they
It
have to
comes in
kind
on
of
them.
like build, like actually physically like destroy with their own mind in order to like go through that wall
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
see what's beyond the wall.
Yep.
I
So
kind of deal with that one with because I do guided meditations for
hmm
people, for patients, and they and I find that they have a hard time going through their own illusionary walls. What that
Yeah.
means in the psyche is they leave their body. So a lot
Yep.
of them are fearing the process of leaving their body, and they put up these walls. to keep them from leaving their body.
I do something similar for people as well. That like I'm working with a girl now that was ritualistically abused by a cult sexually and repeatedly molested for years of her life, and she
That's gotta be
is
rough.
so repressed. Lives and breaking through and getting through, and she's realizing that that is not the sum of reality. And I'm trying to get the point across, not only to her but other people, is they did not make your reality. We make our own reality. They do not have control over you. You have control over you. I see it in the education system, that kids are being taught that the idea that they are powerless, that they are useless, that they are nothing, that they're just disposable units. And we got the mentality there. Then we have the people that are ritualistically abused, that are made to feel that I mean, their perception is so skewed by that. And when somebody finally has that realization, is that we create our own reality, we make our own world, and right in front of us, and we have absolute 100% control over it, and not anything that happened in the past, and not anything happening now, and nothing in the future, if we know how to control our own perception and our own lives and all of that. Nothing can control you any longer. You
Yeah, because
absolutely have
part of
a
that training is not even to, realize it's training in the first place. It's supposed to be like reality. So like you don't even know that it's wrong
yeah,
until you like, go outside of your box and like communicate with people outside of your circle
yeah.
and find that there's another world out there that
hmm
doesn't have pertain to what you're going through.
Well, I've got a friend that's working with a girl that wasn't exactly like a ritualistic cult satanic abuse. It was a very sick, twisted family, and I guess I won't actually pin a pin on the map of where they were from. I guess somebody could guess, but basically, it was incestual relationships was the norm. A brother just saying, "I want to get laid," bend over to his sister, and they was absolutely normal for everybody. They did not care. This family was quite gone, and this girl finally ran away from home later on in life, but was just living on the streets, just a complete and total wreck. Her mind was just shattered and fractured from this type of reality, and she didn't know any other reality because the men in the family treated the women like they were just pieces of meat that they could stick their you know what in anytime they wanted. And he's working with her and bringing her back to the fact that that type of world is not the real world. You grew up in a world that was created for you, and
Yeah, it's a
she's
good point.
breaking free. She is breaking free from that. So yeah, it's possible to break free from things and start seeing the larger picture and just keep going looking for the larger picture.
Yeah, I
And
have someone I'm working with, and they have mental issues with some sort of well, from like having like alcohol abuse, stopping the alcohol, and then like having like memories come back.
right.
So these memories are like from way early on in childhood, and there's some forms of abuse, and they're like causing kind of reactions, almost like trigger effects, which makes me think that this person could have been part of a cult in the past in some form,
hmm
or maybe another one.
Yep. Yeah, it's hard to say these days. There's so much secrecy, so many lies, and so many horrendous acts being portrayed on children. It is just amazing. How much of this stuff really goes on behind the scenes, and how much of it is swept underneath the rug and made to look like it's never been happening, and it's been going on for a long time. This is to this day, I absolutely despise people that touch children. I mean, I put my size 12 boot on their throat if I could do it. It just absolutely is so damaging and ruins someone, would possibly ruin a person's life for the rest of their lives. I
And
mean,
you've done
people.
research on MK Ultra stuff, right?
Hmm.
So and
Absolutely.
you've came to the conclusion that they're still using MK Ultra programming today,
Oh yeah, I think they've
like
incorporated
reinforced
this.
programming.
Like I remember when I told you that my grandfather was brought over and became a member of the CIA.
Yeah,
He worked on the TV. He worked on CCTV. That was his baby. And what I found out when I could get the information of some of the things that people knew at the time when they were alive, and then things that other relatives of mine knew. There were people he actually talked to. I didn't know him as well, but he worked on this stuff, and basically what we're looking at now is MK Ultra is now an everyday occurrence. It's when you turn on the TV.
yeah,
You
exactly.
turn on the TV, and will suck you up and put you into, I think it's your alpha. You'll just lay back, and whatever they want to put in your head goes right into your head. And that is why so many people are reluctant or just flat out fight tooth and nail against the idea that there's something wrong in this world. Because they sit there and watch that idiot box that just dumbs down the entire populace. I haven't watched an idiot box for going on 10 years. I take
Wow.
pieces of stuff. Like, when I mention a show or a movie, I take pieces of them, and I usually go through and cut them up with other people, and we look at the things in the movie. And we read the reviews and read stuff, but we really try to stay away from watching this stuff and putting into our heads, because it does alter our perception.
Yeah,
I
it's
know
like
it.
an influence, but
It
only
is.
if you let it. Because,
Yeah.
like, if you look at a sigil, for instance, and you don't know that that's a sigil, and you're seeing it for what it's trying to be portrayed as, then it's going to affect you subconsciously. But say if you look at the sigil and you know it's a sigil, then you're basically seeing it for what it is, and it loses its power.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's why knowledge and truth is trying to be stamped out.
And
Be-
a sigil is basically an outline, like it's basically drawing an arrow from letter to letter of a demon or angel name in the um, four what do you call watchtowers
yeah. Yeah.
in Enochian
The Enochian. I
information.
was just about to say that the Enochian language. That I believe it was Francis Bacon. If it was, maybe, actually, I think Francis Bacon was
John
working.
Dee.
John Dee was, yeah, that's the one. And maybe Francis Bacon was working in and around that as well.
And there
Uh,
was also a Kelly. I can't remember
yeah,
his first name.
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
yeah,
basically they had a like divining type of situation where they had like a crystal ball and a candle, and he was basically channeling Azrael, and
yes,
Azrael gave him the information in a pictogram form that he saw in his mind, and he tried to draw it out, and that became what we know of as the four watchtowers,
yep,
and
yep.
they never were finished because he couldn't figure out the complete um, he couldn't complete it. So
He met some
later on in life,
opposition.
what?
He met opposition as well.
Yeah, that's
It,
true.
he started
So
questioning the validity and the truthfulness of these entities that he was channeling, and other people around him were going, this doesn't seem right. And so that's why it was an unfinished, because it was literally left off, because it was abandoned, because it had a very evil tinge to it.
yeah, but it's been finished now
Yes. Oh yeah,
because
definitely.
David Allen Hulse was able to get into the Golden Dawn Society for a number of years and get into those underground um, libraries where you can only go if you're a member of something.
That's right.
And he was able to do a lot of research of older texts,
Hmm.
and then he got out of the society and wrote books.
Hmm.
I have a couple of his books because I met the guy and he gave them to me. The one of them it's called The Key of It All, right? There's
I've seen that.
levels.
Yes.
Right, yeah, so then the Enochian information's in there, and
Hmm.
it has all of the watchtowers and the translations of them.
Yeah. It
But
kind of
that's
makes you wonder with the
use that
watchtower.
against them, because then you can see it for what it is. When you see like a
Exactly.
McDonald's freaking symbol or something, you
Exactly.
know that's a
Or
sigil.
I can even go so far as to say that the religious organization of the Watchtower Society, the
Yeah,
Jehovah's Witnesses,
yeah,
those that come
agreed.
door to door trying to sell you this stuff, they
They're
take
always
part.
telling you the end of the world. You know, I had
Well,
a conversation with him one day. I mean, he came to my door, and I was telling him, I was telling him the information they didn't even know about what so-called end of the world was supposed to be, and it was weird because I thought they knew the information I was telling them.
yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. They send out the low level initiates that have no clue what's going on.
Right.
They're just there to sell their wares to
Because
people and
I was
bring more
talking
people in.
about like transhumanism and Mark of the Beast and how it was like all on like the things, and they were like, "What?"
Right, right. Well, you know what? Since you mentioned that, I probably could just say that my fundamentals, my belief system that I came to, um, is of a monotheistic point of view, with no religion. I'm sorry, religion is the man-made idea of what I think the truth is, and actually, I would say I know the truth is, and it's very simple. And once I started seeing that what I had discovered, everything else was an attack to try to bring down one thing: Islam, the occult. Everything was aiming their weapons at this one thing. And I started realizing if the whole entire world, it seemingly is falling apart at the seams, the liars, the cheats, the rapists, the murderers, these people that are the psychopaths that run our world are trying to fire away open season on this one thing. I'm going to have to start really looking deep into this one thing. Why do they not like this?
Yeah.
And I didn't look back, and I realized a few things, and I realized that what they believe in and what they consider to be powerful beings have absolutely no authority and nothing that they can do to us, because we absolutely have all authority over those things that they call gods.
Yeah. So for me, I consider all possibilities. So I consider that a possibility. But the idea behind the what the I don't know what they're trying to portray is it has no validity on me because I don't believe in the same thing they do. I mean, I'll consider it a possibility, but because the belief isn't there, they don't have that power over me.
Exactly. They don't have you duped.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just like realize that they believe those things, and then so I have to research what they believe so I understand their perspective.
Yeah. Well, in my journeys through life,
And the same with you. I have to research what you believe to understand your perception.
exactly. Yep. And I never push anything. I say what I say, and if somebody's interested, I'll let them know. Other than that, what I believe is what I believe, and if you want to know about it, I'll be more than happy to tell you about it in full. And that's you catch more flies with honey than you do with how the Mormons or the Jehovah's Witnesses or the occult people try to push it. You
Yeah,
know
I like to hear people's perceptions and opinions on things, but I don't
exactly.
like when they push them on me.
Yeah, you don't win anybody's trust. You don't win any friendships if you're going to try to jam something down their throat and say that this is it. This is why Christianity right now is basically a shell of what it used to be, because it literally has been infiltrated and taken over from the inside to the out, and it's rotten to the core. And it starts with the Catholic Church, and then the funded Martin Luther that branched off as a supposed anti-Catholic movement, but was funded by the what originally a lot of people would know as Knights Templars, and then family. Actually, it was the Rothschilds that funded Luther and gave
Yeah,
him his
which
money
goes
to do
back
what he
to the
did.
Nazis, pretty much.
Exactly. And what this is perpetual war.
And all the
In
Nazis were, mind you, was a party,
Mhm.
like a political party.
Yeah. Well,
So,
Hitler
we always think of
actually
them as like an army, but really they're like a political party that just went way awry.
they lied to the people. The people thought one thing, and the people didn't know what they were getting into, and they did
Same thing can
exactly.
happen with the Democrats or the Republicans.
And that's already happened.
You know what I'm saying?
We don't live in a democratic
I
society
know, it's
anymore.
all the same. It's all
We live
projected.
in a puppet democratic
That's my
society.
opinion, at least.
Yeah, I think you and I can agree on that. There is no Democratic or Republican. All these people are on the same side. They just want to. What is it? All life is a
It's
stage.
another form of dualism.
It's all dualism. It's. Do you remember Star Wars
Yeah.
and how the Emperor did what he did? Started a war on two fronts, and then split everything down the middle, caused so much confusion, and then ended up on top,
Yeah,
being the
there's a lot
ultimate
of
empire.
foreshadowing in that.
Exactly. And what we see is many versions throughout history leading up to one significant version of a Hegelian dialectic. And it's going to end up with, well, I'd hate to know who it is. It's going to end up being on top, saying, I'm the emperor. Do what I say or die. And people buy into this.
Yeah. Well, I
And
mean, they could totally create that whole scenario. They have the ability to do it now, and probably the people.
yeah, I
It's a
think what
matter
it
of not
is,
falling into the trap
you know,
and
you know,
realize that they are creating that.
well, all we can do is just say what we say until they take away our freedom of speech, and then start our own printing presses and go underground.
Yeah.
Because from what I
Basically, we're going
understand,
back in time.
yeah, from what I understand from you, I don't think you're going. You're not a believer in this new world order that they think is some utopian, dictatorship.
No.
When the whole idea is to eliminate all of the population of the earth except for some exclusive club of 500 million.
Yeah, and then they're going to go underground. I mean, it's basically like the time machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Exactly.
Morlocks. They're
Yep.
they're setting up themselves to be the Morlocks,
Mm-hmm.
and we're
Yep.
supposed to be the Eloi.
Yep. No, I was saying the last time we were talking that that
Welcome, viewer.
this is all great and dandy in the minds of people, but I see it. I think above this that they think they're going to be reaching paradise, but really what's happening is that anything and everything that was known to be good and had any moral standing to it is slowly but surely being turned upside down. Good is evil, evil is good. That's the basic premise. Murder is good, living is bad. Rape is good, regular sex is bad. Anything and everything is flipped upside down. And it's almost as if the types of people that have grasped this power believe that we can go back to Cern. I see the Cern as people trying to escape what this is, a matrix. Matrix in Greek is a womb. They want out and they hate it. They hate this world and they think that they're in prison and they want to escape and they will destroy it trying to get out. And them doing this and left to their own devices without anybody challenging them, they will leave no life left on this planet. It will look like Mars.
That brings us back to CERN,
Thank
because we
you.
don't know the implications of what might happen from that,
That's
and
right.
they've never done it before, so
Mm-hmm.
therefore they don't know either.
Yep. We're guinea pigs. We're guinea pigs for their poison GMOs. We're guinea pigs on so many levels. We have become their slaves. We don't have. It's like what Morpheus described the Matrix to Mr. Anderson or Neo. You can't see the walls. There are no bars. There are no doors. It's
But the
all
best
around
thing we
you.
could do at this point is try to understand it, because the more we understand, the less we fear.
Exactly. I have no fear whatsoever, as I understand for myself that my consciousness isn't 100% attached to this world. My consciousness resides outside of my biomechanical suit. I'm just operating it right now. I think I reside, and a lot of other people share the same belief that I reside in another place as well.
You know,
And
that's
we,
interesting you bring that up because I've had what I call a waking up experience where I've ended up in another location.
mhm.
Um, it was kind of matrixy, if you will, but it didn't have like machines. It was I was inside of like an egg type of thing, like a glass egg, if you
Yeah.
will. There was water in it, but the
Mhm.
water was like pink,
Mhm.
and I wasn't breathing the water or like even touching the water with my face because I had a mask on, and it was forcing me to breathe some sort of liquid. So I wasn't really actually breathing air. I was like breathing a liquid, kind of a
Mm.
creamy substance in and out, and it was forcing me to breathe. And you just kind of got used to it and went with it, kind of going with the flow. Once I was there, I didn't remember here. Like I remember here being like a memory, like a distant memory, like a dream. And I didn't remember who I was or why I was there, what was going on. All these things, kind of amnesia type of experience. What I did notice was that there was other people, and they were kind of like in their own eggs, going like down in a row, and I was like at the end of the row, looking down at like the left and the right of a row going all the way down. So then each one kind of was behind the next,
You do know
and
what that sounds like, right?
what?
It sounds like the description in The Matrix when Neo woke up.
Yeah, kind of, but like without the
Without the
dimensional.
machinery.
Yeah, without the machinery and without the dimensional thing. And this happened before I saw the Matrix. Like this experience. And another thing was I didn't what's that called? I didn't I wasn't asleep. I was just doing kind of like a waking guided meditation type of experience. I had my eyes open. I was in the dark, but I was like laying down and I was looking at the ceiling where there was a fan, and I was trying to do this thing where I wouldn't look all the way at the ceiling. I would look be like right in front of me, and I'd focus on there. In the darkness, I was able to like communicate with these types of what I've found to be called bions from William Reich, but but I always called them amoebas, and they were basically like some sort of etheric beings, almost like fish that kind of float in the air, and you can only see them in like a twilight because they're kind of glassy, and if you can't see the backs of them, there's no shade, so you don't actually see their structure. Are you aware with me?
Yep, I'm listening.
Okay, so then they actually become things that you think about. So if you're thinking of something like a shape, they'll like form their body structure into that shape in front of you. And
You
I've
know
got
what?
good. What?
I'm going to interject.
Go
I don't
ahead.
think you saw outside. I think what you saw was the possibilities that we are in control of our perception and nothing else is. But we have to have that control and know we have it. That you were beginning to see that we make our own reality. We live in a holographic universe. Quantum physicists are coming out in groves talking about this. I believe what you're seeing is another level to the truth that we are in a holographic universe. And there is something far more interesting when this is all said and done with. When we move on and go somewhere else. I don't see the death as being the end. I see death as being the beginning of another journey. And you think you were being shown that that is what we make our own reality. But other people are trying to make our reality for us, which we were discussing before. And people are being kept in the dark from the fact that we make our own reality, but they want to make our reality for us so they can keep us under control.
Well, I wanted to explain that these things they seem to have a consciousness. So
Hmm.
what you're telling me is that the Matrix itself seems to have a consciousness.
It's quite possible. Can you imagine a computer program so vast to create something that feels real, to hold this all together and not have some kind of awareness, some kind of consciousness perhaps, on even some basic level?
It could be a mishmeld of our consciousness and its consciousness as well.
I'm almost, well, if we're plugged in somewhere and we make our own reality, basically we are creating
It's a co-creation.
Yeah, maybe even we're doing it all ourselves.
But we have to use the machine in order to experience it.
Even if it is a machine.
Or
I mean,
whatever,
yeah, whatever it is. But yeah, it's a
that
good
was,
description.
yeah.
But
These ion things.
Yeah.
But the idea is they ended up becoming like what I thought about. And at the time, I was really thinking about this like machine that I'm creating in my mind. It's like a kind of like a magnet like that has it's a cube. It's actually very Saturn. It's a cube, right? Like a magnetic cube.
Yep.
That is inside of a 3-ring gyroscope.
Yep.
And each side of the cube has a magnet, and 3 of the magnets are like positively charged, and the other 3 on the other side are negatively charged. So then it spins inside the gyroscope, and it creates like some sort of, I don't know, like magnetic thing. But the idea is, in my mind, when I created it, and then I had the bions like kind of redistribute it in front of me, it created a visual kind of window. And I was looking at my device in the future at like some sort of place, white room kind of thing, like huge, and kind of remind me of Contact in a lot of ways. But there was a situation that occurred, and it created like a black hole. The black hole engulfed everything, and then it even came through my window that I was looking through in reality, and then actually came into me. And then when I like came out of that, I was there in that other place with those other people.
You know,
but I couldn't talk to them or anything.
Yeah,
and there was a weird moment that happened. I gotta explain. There was like this spider that dripped off the ceiling and it was like a mechanical thing, like a mechanical spider type of thing. It had cameras on it where you'd think there would be eyes.
Well, I've heard this, similar things and dissimilar things in situations that you're describing from people. And I've come to the conclusion that we don't even know the half of what we're capable of, what we ourselves are capable of. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there are things, interdimensional things, that I believe with all of my heart are jealous of us humans because we have a capability that they do not. And that is why I tie in this alien abduction stuff, because I believe these interdimensional beings are trying to figure us out because they want what we have. And we don't even know a tenth of what we're capable of. And some people know a little bit more. And we could call them the Manly P. Halls, the Aleister Crawleys, whoever else you want to, those are some of the big names. They've had an understanding, more so, of what we are capable of.
Would you say that that's occult knowledge?
That is occult knowledge. They know occultic knowledge, but it has been said in many different places that we can speak things into existence.
Yes.
Now, side note, occult just means hidden.
Hidden. Exactly. It's hidden knowledge, but it's not so hidden because we're starting to figure this one out. And even for me, at an early age, I was told by my real mother when she was still alive, and she had her faith and her belief. She said, you can speak things into existence. She said, if you say you're sick, guess what? You're probably going to get sick. If you say, I want that person to die, I hate them, they might get run over by a car.
You know, that is very true. It is, you are exactly right. You're exactly right.
You know
And
what
that's
I
what,
do? I
go ahead.
say peace. I say, I walk into a situation and I speak it out loud. I say, peace.
Nice. I
And
like that.
I believe it fully now because I know that I have control. I was given this matrix to play with. And we're being told that we don't have any control over it and we're just accidents. I'm sorry, go ahead. You were saying something, I'll let you.
Would you say, well, so, okay, so I've had this discussion numerous times with religious people, and they see it as occult knowledge, is the devil's work.
That's because
And
they've been lied to.
and as far as the truth movement, there is filled with Christians that when you try to explain to them the way things really work, I mean, I don't understand how people don't notice it when we do it every single day. We live it.
Well, amazing to me is a lot, like you saying, there's a lot of Christians that do feel that way. But it's amazing to me that it's even written in red letters that Yeshua, Jesus, said that we speak things into existence and we have that capability.
Side
How in the
note, those are both 74.
okay,
They both
but
sum to 74.
mm-hmm.
This is a very interesting topic. I swear I never heard this
Also,
anywhere.
Occult and Lucifer both sum to 74.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. Well, if you actually you can if
In
you want to go
Gematria.
there, in gematria. Now, if you want to go for some interesting things on a side note, that you actually can reverse the Arabic language and take names and stretch them out, and they're the Hebrew, like Allah is the Hebrew name for Satan, reversed.
That's
Amazingly
interesting.
enough, yes. Why do occult people speak backwards in ceremonies? Why is everything turned upside down? Why is this? Why is there said thing that we all know is backmasking on albums when you can play something backwards and get a message?
A lot of the Enochian was backwards as well.
Exactly. There's something more to this, but back to the whole Christian thing, Christians don't realize it, but I'm attached to a group of Christians that absolutely believe that we can speak things into existence, and we have all authority and control over this matrix, our womb.
I'm more of a quantum, what's that called? Activist. Like, I believe in the same thing pretty much, like where I create my reality along
Yeah,
with other people. We all are co-creators.
yeah.
But the only ones that really have the power are the ones that realize it.
Thank you. Exactly. And
Hmm.
guess what's happened? In anything that would be truth, it's always infiltrated by people that want to turn it backwards
Yeah.
and make us not aware that we are in control and not elite group of people.
You know what I think it is? I think it is in the beginning we all start off, ignorant to the knowledge, and then when we find out, we try to, teach people and convince people, and then after getting frustrated from people not, responding properly or the way we would like, we begin to use it against them.
We use our emotions in the wrong way, and
Yes.
we let ourselves be overcome with the emotions such as anger out of frustration, and it creates that negative energy that envelops everything. And I have seen it work in waves in mass crowds where a negative personality can come in and turn literally 1,000 people into a raving bunch of lunatics, mad to the bone. It is and always will be the ability to do so, and people that are more susceptible to these things because they have been educated to think this way, to be susceptible to it, will fall for it every time. And this is the manipulation that we all see and feel every day.
Hey, can I jump in for a second? I wanted to ask viewer, what's your take on the Georgia Guidestones? Because I know you're a Mason.
Oh God, that got around that fast.
I was there.
Yeah, you see how they treat me in those rooms. Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Um, well, somebody's definitely putting them up, you know. The thing is, it goes like this. I don't agree. I don't agree with them. You know, I don't agree with how they feel that the population should be at what they believe it should be. I don't believe any of it. You know, I recognize that somebody put it there. I don't. It's not part of what I live my life by or anything like that. I don't approve of it. Not at all.
Okay. Um, have you done any research on it?
No, I haven't. You know, I try to stick to things that I feel like I see. I don't really dip and dab into the occult other than out of the lodge and the direct people I deal with. I try to focus more on like getting things done. you know, I just noticed that when I focus on that stuff, I get stuck there. So I try to just focus on like things that we all can see and things that we all know, things that we can all change.
Okay. How about the Bohemian Club? Have you done any research on that? Do you know about that?
Very little outside of the stuff that AJ put out a while ago. And like I said, it's so many groups, man. It's so many groups. Like I know these are probably like branches of the tree, as far as Freemasonry goes and whatnot. But I haven't had the time, and I really haven't met anyone that was in the Bohemian group club guys. I haven't met anyone that's been a part of it, so I don't know if I can truly do good research other than what's online.
No, it's about finding sources. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
And
like I
thank you for
tell,
your information.
yeah, I tell those guys all the time. Like they'll come on the chat rooms. You've been there, and they'll try to take me to task about masonry, and I'm like, "Are you a mason?" They're like, "No, but I read this online, and I have this book." I'm like, "Okay, great, fantastic." So you know what's going on on Mars because you read a book and you surf the internet. It's so many views. I think a lot of stuff out there is disinformation, and I think a lot of stuff is actually spot on, but a lot of stuff is just it's compartmentalized. It's only in certain lodges. They don't have that in every lodge because they know everyone's not going to go for it, so why would they expose themselves? Yeah.
Right, but they also put everything out there for you to see anyway. If you're looking, you can
Definitely
find it
in plain sight because no one's looking in plain sight, you
in
know what I
plain
mean?
sight.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
And
mean,
that's where you get into the whole idea of a spell or a subconscious representation, like a what's that called? Subliminal, like a subliminal message.
yes. Yes, and I totally understand what you mean. A lot of stuff, I often say it like this. I compare it to the church. I say, if there's subliminal stuff and it makes you go along with it, or if you notice there's subliminal stuff, but if you go and you still go along with it, at the end it's the same results. So I think a lot of people are awake to a lot of things, but they just choose to go along to get along. You know what I mean? It's a social. Um, Aspect that they're trying to stick to because they don't want to jump out of line. You know that term, get out of line, So I think it yields the same results, even if they are under the spell or if they're just going along with the spell because they don't want to be seen stepping out of line.
Okay, that's interesting. What about the like clothing lines, like leopard skin? I've been seeing that like everywhere, and I know that that's one of those MK Ultra programming techniques that they use to reinforce. Do you know anything about that?
No, I don't. I mean that that's crazy because it's like my people have been wearing leopard skin forever, you know. So I that's great. I wouldn't. What is it supposed to reinforce?
Sexual programming, like sex kitten programming. Usually, if a girl is wearing it, like a woman or a young like woman, that or like a a little girl, then it's supposed to reinforce this sexual programming in them, so they feel sexy, and it's supposed to reinforce this sexual programming in a male when they see that as something to attack, like type of, you basically go back to primal animal programming, and it reinforces that. It's like triggers it. So then you're like,
Oh
oh,
wow.
and you know what? I find that chick sexy because you're
Wow.
seeing her wearing that.
I'm gonna pay attention to that a lot. We got to get a list of all this stuff and post it somewhere, you
Oh, I
know?
have a list. Do you want me to go through
Oh
it?
yeah, 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 yeah. I have about 10 minutes. I have to go see my lawyer. I just bought some property, so yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna have to cut it short like in 10 minutes. So I was just saying.
Yeah, no problem. I'll try to go through it real fast. I have it on my notes. Do, 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 do. Um,
That's interesting. Wow. I mean, I've always, you know what? And maybe I've fallen for the mind control because every time I see a woman in leopard print, I'm like, oh yeah, it's time. You know?
yeah, exactly. See? But see, once you realize that that's what it's doing to you, it has an opposite effect. Like you start seeing the person like for what they really are, and you don't see that. It's very strange. It's almost like you start seeing like people that are trying to look sexy wearing that stuff. You know?
Yeah,
It's like they
yeah,
need it.
yeah. What about like the pink and the zebra print? Is there anything to that?
Pink is associated with some programming, I believe, but the it's still the print. It's really about animal print, right? Because what is the zebra in nature? It's like something that gets tacked, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So it's like the prey. So when you wear the clothes of a prey, you're basically saying I want to be attacked, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Wow,
subliminal
that's very
messages,
interesting.
and then I was going to, oh yeah, I remember the movies. Okay, hidden occult symbolism. So you have the skull and bones, right? You know of this. You see this everywhere.
No, everywhere.
Like it's just you see skull, right? Everywhere. Like people wear skulls, and they wear the. It's just everywhere. It's ridiculous. So there's what that is. That influences you from the Yale Society, the skull and bones, the tomb in the Yale Society. What do you call it? The fraternity, right? So
Yes.
anytime you kind of see a skull and bones representation on some clothing line, that probably means it's owned by the skull and bones fraternity. Okay? So
Hmm.
there's that. You have the animal print, it's usually leopard, but sometimes it's also zebra. Can also be, I've noticed, giraffe. There's shattered glass, that's a symbol. There's butterflies, that represents monarch programming. So like if you see like, a famous movie star or like singer or something and they have like a tattoo of a butterfly, probably monarch programmed. If they're taking pictures and they're holding a butterfly or have a butterfly on their nose or something like that, probably represented by they're a program. They're being altered. Okay?
Hmm.
Then you got birds, you got peculiar tattoos, there's eyes, the eye, the one eye, you see that like in like lots of symbols. You see it in lots of logos. You see it in lots of pictures being portrayed by, again, movie stars and pop stars, like music industry people.
Yes.
There's hand gestures, right? There's the OK symbol. The OK
Hmm.
symbol is actually a hidden 666. Did you know that?
Yeah,
And
I knew that.
don't forget when they put it over their eye too to get the
Yeah,
double
they put it
meaning.
over their eye to reinforce the eye programming. Now, it's my opinion at this point, from the research that I did on this type of stuff, that these people aren't doing this for the picture.
No.
They're being programmed by triggers, and then they take the picture.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's why you see them kind of like have this like blank stare in their eyes.
I've always wondered too, like, do they get all these people together and make them do this? Like, how does that exactly work?
Have you heard? Were you listening to us at the beginning of the show?
No, I just came in like about 15 minutes before I spoke.
Okay, well, we were talking about MK Ultra programming and how it affects the cult, right? And they're programming on their children. They program them from like early on, like about 2 years old, and they basically abuse them to the level of submission. And once they're at that level, they give them like memories. They give them nurturing kindness, and then they tell them they're gonna allow themselves. They're gonna make you're the child. They're gonna make you allow a demon to enter into you and become part of you, and will be with you throughout life. And this demon is actually keeping you alive.
You know what? I'm gonna share a story with you, and it's quite crazy. I was at a political campaign. Someone I know was running, and the people on stage had introduced the group. And when they turned to take pictures of us, I did the devil horns. I don't know why I did that. I used to be in a rock band, so we do that a lot. You know what I mean?
It's influence.
Yeah.
You've been influenced. I did it too. Like when you go to a rock concert and you like everybody's putting their arm up doing that, you do it too. It's influence.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like when you look at like 1984, the movie, and you see that all the people are like looking at the screen, and they're all putting their arms together and doing that kind of X form with their arms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the reason why that was is because they're all basically saying, no, we hate this person that they're showing on the screen, which was, I think, Goldstein or Goldberg or something. And that was essentially the representation of a terrorist in that film, right? So they're basically saying, hey, we hate this terrorist, we want him to die, blah, blah, blah. And the person that you're like focusing on in the film is actually against that process, likes the guy that they're saying they hate because he's against the process of what they're dealing with, right? So then he has to actually go along with it in order to not look like he's of the opposition. So the same kind of thing can be said from when you're at a rock concert and you're putting your hands up with the devil horns because everyone else is.
Wow, man! I'm telling you, this is a very good hangout. I tell you that, a very good hangout. It's not like a circle jerk like the rest of them. I'm actually learning some stuff here. So tell me this, what's okay with these program things? Wow, how do we get around them? Do we have to know about them?
You need to do some research on stuff. I recommend checking out Sfali, because she gets into it from a personal perspective. Like she
Can you
grew
spell
up
that?
like one of them. Sfali, Svali. And of course that's not her real name. That's her name that she goes by.
Can I interject something here?
And everything. Yeah, go ahead.
Think on this one. What do, in most religious situations in a church, do you hear after every prayer?
Amen.
Amen.
Amen Ra.
Yeah,
Amen.
Exactly.
I do not use that.
I actually mess with Christians that way. When they say amen, I go Amen Ra.
Yeah, you do what you got to do. But that is another form of ancient, old programming. People all over don't even realize the esoteric meaning behind that.
I'm actually pagan. I did a lot of research on, ancient Egyptian religion. So like in my perspective, the cult is bastardizing my view on reality. By demonizing it. But I don't see it in the same way they do.
Yeah,
Right.
they take it and use it for, and they corrupt it. Like a lot of this stuff is ancient Egyptian mystery system,
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say a lot of it. All of it is.
All of it, yeah.
They
Because
just take it
originally the
and
priest-caste
reshape it.
system would be the original Illuminati.
Yeah, and it wasn't meant for bad, you know. But you know, when people see something and they see how they can, you know, it's like when you get a new car and you pull up to a bunch of girls. They're all like, ah, but if a guy next to you pulls up in the exact same car, now they have options. It's one of those things. People realize that if they're the only ones with it, then they can make the rules, you know. So
Right.
they take it and they change it up and they make it resemble them rather than what it actually came from. Like well, I don't know if you also knew that I came from LDS, and
Yeah, I remember. I actually was in the LDS system in the past as well. And,
it's
you know,
Masonry all
strangely,
the
I
way.
went into it myself. Like, I wasn't born into it,
Uh huh.
but I
I did
got
too.
out of it because they couldn't answer my questions, and I was a researcher.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And you know what? And I remember I said before, is some people in there because they believe it. Some people are just going along to get along. You know, it's the only thing they have as far as social, or their family members are in it, and they just don't want to step out. You know,
But
so they'll.
again, something that you said earlier, not here, but like before, about basically it's like a forefront to the Masonry. That
Yes.
that is true because what do you call it? Joseph Smith, the creator of it, was a 33rd degree.
Yeah, and they
Mhm.
love that. I'm telling you, I got all praise when they found out I was a Mason. You know what I mean? I got special treatment. You know, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy. You should see those people in there, especially the people around my age. Like I was a part of a singles ward, and oh my
Mormons kind
goodness.
of weird because they're always happy.
Yeah, it's man, I'm telling you, it's weird happy too. It's like they fear that if they get mad, God will strike them down and they'll go to hell.
Yeah,
You
it's like
know?
like they're walking on eggshells
Yeah, it's
kind of
unnatural.
happiness.
It's very unnatural, and you know it leads to a lot of issues. I will not lie. You know, the people are really good people. You know, they're not the worst people in the world. Definitely not.
No.
But I will say this: there's a lot of things going on within the church that no one talks about.
Well, you know what? It's the people that are being lied to aren't the bad people.
Yeah.
It's the people that are lying to them that are.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this: a lot of people just don't know. You know,
Exactly.
like when you go into the church, you'll start to get the feeling that some people are retarded by the
Mm.
definition, not like hand to chest, but like they're socially retarded, mentally retarded,
Mhm.
and like all through all the things the church talks about. The church doesn't talk about gluttony. You
Are you
know?
talking? Are you talking about the LDS Church
Yeah.
Yes,
itself?
yes,
I came
yes.
across a few people that were involved with the Church of Satan and higher up in the rankings. They said that when they became completely burned out by all of the demonology and all of the crap they were into, and they were spiritually worn thin, that they could take refuge at the LDS center of the universe at Salt Lake City. They would go to the church and just hang out and rest up, and then go back to doing what they were doing when they were fully vacationed.
Wow, that's
What, are they
crazy.
picking up energy or something?
No,
I don't know, but
that seems like what that would be.
I
You
have an
know you know
ex-Satanist that has
that
told me
the
this.
temple in Salt Lake is actually on a powerful ley line
Exactly.
Yeah, they
crossing.
know what they're doing. Like I told you,
So
masonry,
that's
the
probably
masonry
why.
steered
Well,
the
look,
religion.
look at where the buildings that the Masons have built. Their
And you know
meeting
that
halls,
that's
their
what they
temples.
do there is they baptize the dead.
Exactly.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's man. I mean, I never seen someone do the link up the pieces between Masonry and Mormonism. I've never seen anyone do it. You know what I mean? That'd be a good book, but they'll get like
Um,
bashed.
I can find you the book. I've got it.
Oh yeah?
I've got the PDF. They link up Masonry with a ton of things, and they have valid proof.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
was
and
like diaries that were done by his mother, Joseph Smith's mother, and she talked about him being in the basement conjuring up
Hmm.
things.
No, there's links between Masonry, Freemasonry, and Scientology. There's
yeah.
He
links
actually
between
talked
Scient.
about an entity that he talked to.
Yeah.
Forget
Oh,
the name.
wait. You were saying John Smith?
Joseph Smith.
Yeah.
Oh, Joseph Smith. Sorry, Rammoni. I mean Moroni.
Yeah, Moroni.
Moroni. Yeah.
Moroni. I always used to make this joke. I used to tell people that an angel came to me. His name was Rammoni, and he would play the flute.
Oh boy.
I would screw with him just because I was bored, you know.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this before I go. The church, that man, it's kooky. It's kooky, man. It's not natural. It's not natural. Something's wrong, and it's obvious when you spend just a little bit of time, you know. And it's like you never get any answers with any of the religions. I promise you that.
Have you
You know,
ever walked into a building and
They're
felt
not
like it was
designed to
dead?
give you answers, I don't think.
No. I've walked into churches like that and felt death.
It just feels stale and stagnant.
It's like a tomb.
Yeah,
A lot of them are created by the, former Masons,
Mm-hmm.
Freemasons from the past.
That's right.
yeah. It's like I don't know. Maybe all the energy went out the top of the steeples. I don't know.
Actually,
But-
you know what? You say that. That's kind of funny. You say that. There's representation for steeples too,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
esoteric.
Yeah. Hey, you guys, I got to get out of here. But, man, I really want to meet up with you guys again, and we can go over a lot of this stuff because this is really cool, man. This is really cool.
Well, before
Well, I
you
come
go,
on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Well, maybe not Tuesdays. If I can come on Tuesdays, I come on Tuesdays. But generally, it's on Thursdays at about this time. So, I try to come on around 12 because that's when my friend comes over.
before you go, I will say this: it's been good talking to you, and I will guarantee you one thing: I will never judge you, and I will never try to push my point of view down your throat, and I will never accuse you.
Oh, yeah. You know what's crazy? We know what's real and what's not. We know when we hear something, we'll know if it's right and exact or if it's the truth from their perspective or if it's just a plain out lie.
Hey,
And
I
I
always
get-
say go with the heart. If you whatever your heart says is the real thing, and whatever your mind says is usually leading you astray.
Yeah, and you know what the crazy part is? I believe that everyone has that in them. It's just some people have just pushed it out the door where they don't want to recognize it. They don't want to observe that, hey, this is wrong, because they don't want to jump out of the, you know what I mean, of line. They don't want to be
Before
like,
you go, did you want me to give you the other the rest of the list real fast?
yeah, we can definitely do that. And I was having trouble finding Svali. How do you spell it again? S-V-A-L-Y?
SVALI.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, please
No
continue.
problem. Look for her things on
She's on
YouTube,
camera.
and
Yeah.
you'll find interviews, and it's best to hear her interviews where you hear her instead of actually seeing the transcribed version, because
Yes.
then you hear her
Mhm.
emotion, and you can actually feel what she's feeling. It's not like she's an actress.
Is she alive still?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know. I
Okay.
mean, it's possible that she could have been taken out, but her information's still out there.
Yeah.
The last thing was, I think, in 2014, so last year she had something, at least, but but before that it was 2 years before, so you have to kind of go back in time. Anyway, so I wanted to let you know, there's also I said hand gestures. Hand gestures are also include keys, codes, and triggers. And then there's also forms of execution. So when you see electricity, lightning bolts, electricity representations, those are triggers.
Uh-huh.
You get large jewels, or jewel is represented by jewel programming, and that's different forms of jewels. We can go into that later. There's green doors, sex kitten programming.
Whoa. Okay,
Representing
go to the
kitten
green door.
programs.
What's that about?
Oh, the main one that I could think about is have you heard of Club 33?
Yep.
No, but we have a green door swingers club here in Las Vegas.
It's associated with the Disney Club 33.
Disney's Club 33 has a green door.
Yeah, because we have a club out here where swingers and people who want to do crazy stuff, they go to and do whatever they want. You know what I mean?
The green door, they're all attached to each
that's
other.
represented. It's represented by that kind of all bets are off kind of deal,
Yep.
no holds barred.
Exactly.
Usually, but the 33 goes in with your crew, so you may find about that later.
Yeah.
You got your cross, which is spiritual programming. There's pentagram, which is occult ritual enforcement. So like people that are ritually programmed with the pentagram can
Hmm.
be enforced ritually through occult practice. And then you got one eye covered. We already kind of went into that with the pictures. You got Wizard of Oz has red shoes and the rainbows, right?
Hmm.
You got your Alice in Wonderland with chess-themed game pieces and also the checkerboard, like white and black colors alternating, representing duality,
Hmm.
usually on the ground.
Wait, because the chessboard, you
And
know,
then,
It's on the floor of the Masonic lodges.
yeah, it's
yeah,
on, yeah.
hear this out. Okay, so this guy, I was in school, I was in my middle school playing, throwing rocks off the building, and my cousin and I, this white guy came and said, "Hey, you guys want to play chess?" So we were like, "Yeah." So he signs up, pays for us to play chess, right? Well, I ended up taking state 2 years in a row, and I played for 2 years, but I look up this guy and he's running for senator. You know what I mean? He's actually like big in politics. I didn't know this, but I happened to take two chess, and then everything that happened after my life and all. Whoa, this is weird. Like I'm starting to think like, does all this stuff play into each other?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, they do.
But we
Because
have to
I
find
would
it
never
through
play
research.
chess.
You're actually going through interaction.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've never played chess, and how does all this stuff lead me here? And it all just comes to a head, you know?
The thirst
Because
for
the
truth.
chess represents like we're all in a game. It reinforces people that have been like programmed by the chess board, like you're going to be. They get reinforced by the programming when like say it's on a video by Madonna. You know what I mean? You're watching the video and you see the programming underneath, or you're watching a cartoon and they show that chess board kind of piece underneath, like in a diner. You know what I'm saying? And it
They're
reinforces
everywhere.
that programming.
Yep,
So
exactly.
then there's Disney theme, and that has to do with clothings, items, etc.
Tons of
So
things.
generally, if someone's programmed and they're Disney programmed, it's usually their handler is wearing something that has to do with Disney,
Yep.
and they're like next to him, like holding on to him, or like behind him, or some shit.
Hmm.
Okay. And then
Wow.
you got the alternate realities. That's like people looking into a mirror. Sometimes the mirror actually comes out and like communicates with them. Sometimes it's like twins. You know, there's those like where somebody's yelling at themselves. You know, like there's these representations that they do generally in like music videos and sometimes on like TV programming, like sitcom shows and stuff like that. And action adventure movies. You know, they portray this dual programming, this alternate reality aspect. That brings us kind of back to Cern, right? With what they're doing there, they may be trying to go into an alternate reality, like sliders, like a parallel universe,
Yep.
right?
You know, it makes me think of. It makes me think of Jim Morrison's Handler Witch, and he came up with the song "Breaking On Through to the Other Side."
Right. Yeah.
Oh man, that song's awesome.
That's a great song.
Yeah, it is. Most people don't even get it.
Nope. Nope. Oh, think about what you call it, John Lennon's song about the glass onion,
Yeah.
right?
I haven't heard that one.
It's a like B-side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. So, and then there's the White Rabbit. Okay, and that has to do with like time, going down the rabbit hole, the idea of Saturn connection. But it relates to Alice in Wonderland because Alice in Wonderland was always following the White Rabbit, and that led her to Wonderland.
And
Yeah.
remember,
Same thing happened with Neo.
Yeah,
Neo
remember,
White
one thing I
Rabbit
got to
going
add
on.
about the White Rabbit real quick
Go for it.
is late, late, late for a very important date. It's always in there. It has to involves time as well with the White Rabbit.
Have you guys ever heard of on YouTube? If you look up "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared."
No.
Oh, yeah. I've
Have
seen
you
that.
have you analyzed what's going on in those?
It's on my watch later list. I've got a watch later list that I can't add any
It's
more to.
brilliant. I'm telling you, you're gonna spend an hour on each one at least
Yeah.
because there's so much stuff that they're trying to tell you in there, and it's like they're trying to show you how things actually take over
Yeah.
our heads. The
Well,
last one's about. Go ahead.
try iPet Goat.
Oh
That-
yeah,
That's crazy.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Forgive me.
yeah. I've seen that one
Yeah,
also.
people have been trying to break that down for a long time.
Yeah.
Is
But,
iPad Goat again?
iPet Goat.
It's
And then there's
iPet Goat
part
2.
2.
I don't know. I've never even heard of one. Is there even a one?
There's a first. It's harder to find because they've replaced it with iPet Goat 2.
Okay, that's why. Yeah, because I couldn't find it.
I've got it in my files somewhere, the original one that I downloaded. I just gotta find it.
You should re-upload that
Yeah,
because since it's it's not out there anymore.
it's on my my Demon drive.
That's funny.
Because it's so in so much disarray and it's 6 terabytes. I can't find anything.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, I gotta get out of here, but I'll be on and I'll shoot you guys some messages and hopefully we can hang out again, man. That'd be awesome.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome, dude.
Have a good one, man. Good
All right,
talking
peace.
to you.
Have a good day.
Likewise. Bye bye.
So yeah, that was interesting, huh?
Yeah, we've covered a few things here and kind of go. See, that's the whole thing. It's focusing on one thing will only lead down one, like you were saying, the rabbit hole, if you will, and it will take you down one path. But when there's a million splitted lines that fraction off even from that one path, it's so hard to stay focused and try to put it all together. It's like an infinity piece puzzle.
Yeah, you gotta do one thing before you can do the other because it's like sometimes you'll get into some research you don't even understand. And you
Exactly.
have to actually go back and get to the meat of the understanding
Yeah.
of what your research is in
Well,
order to continue your research.
my friend at MIT said, this whole thing that you and I have discovered is kind of like the largest Rubik's Cube ever. Trying to figure out how it fits. You know it fits together, but you got to twist and turn and move it in every which direction
And it's
and
got
try to
those
stay on top
colors.
of it. Exactly. There is so much in depthness, the depth of it, and
It's
all
funny
of
you use the term cube because it's that's a representation of Saturn as well.
exactly, because the hexagon on the North Pole, and of
Yep.
course the eye that looks like an eye on the South Pole.
Yep.
Amazing, isn't it? Have you ever heard the tunes, the audio of the sounds that Saturn makes?
I have. I thought that was like crazy. It's like creepy.
It is very creepy. It's almost like something screaming out.
I want to
And-
like sample it.
Yeah, it's out there. I've got
I
it
think I'll
down. I
probably
got that
use it
downloaded
in one of
too.
my Saturn like production things.
There you go. Hey, you were mentioning something, and I thought you might be interested in this person. I just picked up on this individual named Thomas Sheridan,
Okay.
and he is an Irishman that has a polytheistic point of view, and he is up on his game about all of this esoteric stuff, and he feels the same way you do. I've heard him say it, that they are bastardizing his religious beliefs. They are twisting and making it their own.
Yeah.
He says they're doing it to the monotheistic factions and the polytheistic factions, and they're taking it all and trying to mash it together as one. And one of his main focal points are the psychopaths. People like to call them the reptilians. And I'm more in tune with what he's saying is these people have gone over to a reprobate mind. They are psychopaths.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
are sociopaths, if you will,
Sociopaths.
and they want power, and they will do anything to get what they want. And if it makes them feel good, they're going to do it, and they don't care if they have to kill your grandma and the whole family to get it. They
Like we
have
were
no
saying, the
conscience.
cremation of care, right? That goes on
Exactly.
in Bohemian Grove.
And
It's
this
like
is, yeah,
they do that so they don't have to care anymore.
this is
Like,
what we
oh
have
my
for our
God,
leadership.
think of this for a minute, okay? Check this out. I was having this conversation with my friend earlier. If we like, no, not us, but like, if somehow the cremation of care did not happen, right? It got stopped somehow,
Hmm.
or something stopped it, or it just didn't happen for some reason. Those people would have to feel.
Yeah,
Do you realize that? They would
yeah,
actually have emotions and guilt for
yeah.
all the things that they're doing and do.
The
That would
idea that
break them down.
it would, and some people have. I've seen it. I've seen people that literally are using a piece of the brain instead of the normal way that we use our brain. That they use I can't remember which part of the brain it is,
Yeah, but
but
it's like they're
even
conditioned from birth. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
they
so
could be
easy for them to
born
do that.
in a normal family, and one child thinks like a reptile.
Yeah,
Like a mother reptile will sit there and watch her little babies be eaten, or even eat them herself, and
right.
not even show one bit of care. That's the part of the brain that Thomas Sheridan is saying is why people are calling them reptilians, because they are using their functionality of their way their
Is
brain
he on
works.
YouTube?
Yeah, I sent the links over if you look into the little chat thing. There's a couple things. Another one was
Oh, okay, and
Russ.
that other one?
Yeah, Russ Dizdar is another one. He's a guy that talks
Okay,
about
cool. Yeah, I'll check that out.
demonology.
We could talk about that next time for sure.
I think he's about 25 years, if not more, in Russ Dizdar is into the occult and
Because like
occult.
my perception of the reptilian information out there, or the what do you call it?
David Icke stuff.
Yeah, the David Icke stuff is it's fear mongering.
It
So it
is.
has validity to it, but you have to kind of not be afraid. You
Yep.
gotta not, like let that stuff go and get the information. But some of it, not all of it, obviously, but most of it is disinfo. So you have to get through the disinfo in order to get the real info, and then you leave the rest behind. That's what I do, at least. That's my own like opinion on it.
Yeah.
For this, I'll do the same thing. I'll like listen to his stuff and I'll see what kind of perspective he has, and I'll research what he's researched himself.
Yeah. That's what you have to
Does
do.
he
You
give
have to
you
pick the
sources?
good from the bad.
Does he give you sources?
Sheridan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. He references where he's gotten his information, and he
Good,
uses a
good.
lot of
Then I
his
can use
own.
that.
He's got his own experiences too. I believe he spent like I'm throwing a number out. It's somewhere like maybe 15, 20 years, something like that,
Right, so he's
working
been
with.
doing it for a while.
Well, he worked as a graphics designer, freelance, working with the people on Wall Street. And he said there are so many people out there that are outright psychopaths, and he says there are people that have come out and told him so, that they are this way and they can do whatever they want because consequences don't matter. Who cares? And he's basing a lot of, and he does reference a lot of his where he's gotten some of his information from. But I just stumbled on him, but I just thought maybe it'd be something cool to shoot your way so you could start looking at him too and see what you think. But I thought he had
Yeah,
some
I
pretty
think that
interesting ideas.
I'll probably put it on one of my lists as well.
Yeah, but yeah,
Oh, and
this.
for just so you know, I have another channel called Conspiracy. It's like conspiracy, but with a K.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever want to look at any of my research, that's where I put that. It'll be
Okay.
in the list areas.
Yeah, that
And
sounds
then I
cool.
source all that stuff, and I try to post it as well, usually on Google Plus.
Yeah, that's generally what I do. I just slap my stuff on my Google Plus page. Anything I come across, I just share it, and I'll put my little comment down. Like I agree with like 73% of what this person says. and the rest I
Exactly,
don't
exactly.
agree
You don't
with.
want to say everything.
Yeah, it's
No.
like, yeah, but if somebody wants to ask me what I agree with and don't agree with, all they
My
have to do
whole
is shoot
thing
me a
is to
line.
actually like seed people with information, and then that information, whether they like believe it or not, doesn't matter. It's a matter of seeding them to the point of wanting to be inspired. And once they're
Yes.
inspired, they can go search on their own whatever they want to search
Yeah.
on.
I'm not their daddy. I'm not going to go do it for them. All I could do is point the direction. I agree. It's like,
But I like to
it's
have
that way.
conversations about it.
Absolutely. I love to have conversations as well, but some people, new, trying to figure stuff out, I like to be the messenger and point the way. And if people want to talk about it, I could talk for probably 24 hours straight. All I have to do is drop a line and say, "Hey, you want to chat?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. When's a free time for you?" I talk about anything. And iron sharpens iron. You
That's right.
know, two
And
people.
we can only make ourselves stronger through the conversation. Because
Exactly.
like you're giving me that information, I give you that information. What's his name? The viewer, he didn't know that information that we were talking about.
Yep. Yep. And that's,
So like, he's probably going to go do his own research now and then get back to us.
exactly. Yeah. And I'm all about you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. Yeah, it's for anybody that
Yeah,
does
me
listen
too.
to this or listening, I will never accuse somebody or argue. I'm not out here to force the opinion. I'm out there to point the way to what I see so far.
Yeah,
And
I
what
agree with you, man. I'm there because I don't like want to judge. My main process is not to judge people, not to judge what people say. I
yeah.
just want to take it in and do my own research based on what you say, and then come
Well,
back with maybe a debate.
I've
You know?
come to the conclusion with the my idea of that I control my own perspective, my own reality. I create my reality, so therefore I don't judge.
Yeah.
Because I'll be judged. It comes back. It's that known. Hippies figured this out. Witches know this. It's the karmatic law. And some things will come back on you. They've got the threes. Some groups have the threes. Things will come back on you threefold on things. And I can't change the world if I can't change myself. I have to first change myself to even think about trying to change the world. I have to be open and willing to discuss things with people and be willing to change my point of view here and there on certain things to be able to actually be effective in the world, to actually even try to discuss things. And for me, it's all become a self-discovery. And from that, I've been able to create my own reality by changing myself, trying to better myself, to project peace, love, forgiveness, and those ideals out into the world instead of hate, fear, and all of the things that come along with those things.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear all that. What do you want to do next? Like, for the next time, you said last time we should pick a topic. What do you want to do the topic this time?
Mm, Let me see here. There's so many things. Um,
I
you
mean,
know
I'm gonna
what?
check out what you gave me. I
Yeah,
could put that on, but
we
aside
could
from
do
that,
that.
if you want
We could
to
do that.
do another topic,
I could pretty much at this
transhumanism
point.
was an interesting one, and
So
it
we
kind
could
of goes
cover that
pretty
one.
far.
I could
Robots.
also, you know what? You know what I'm going to do?
Right.
I'm going to send you another link to somebody I visit a lot. I view their material quite often. I'll send you to their Google Plus page real quick. I'll put it in the Hangouts box. Nicholson, 1968.
Oh
He
yeah, I
is
have
a.
him.
Oh, you have him?
Yeah,
Yeah, very
yeah, he's awesome.
anti-transhumanism.
He's
Yeah,
very
he's.
trans. Yeah, I've been trying to research his research.
Mhm.
Um, he hasn't
So
gotten really into Ray Kurzweil. I find that interesting.
no, I don't know why he is not very vocal. He just puts stuff out there. He's got his own Vimeo site as well. I don't know if you knew that or not,
No.
but he puts stuff out that YouTube rejects out on
Oh,
Vimeo. He pays for it,
I
so
see.
you can. He has got uh, hundreds. of videos on Vimeo as well, under Nicholson 1968 on Vimeo, which is an awesome resource because he's got stuff about water, what they're doing to our water, stuff about what they're doing to our food, cigarettes, you name it. He has got things covered. He doesn't only just do transhumanism, but with YouTube, we all know that copyright, anybody can make a copyright claim if they don't like it, and you have no way to fight back. So some things that some people haven't liked, he's been attacked on YouTube. He just puts them on his Vimeo account and slaps it up there, and he's got all kinds of interesting information. I've learned a lot from him. I really like that guy.
Maybe we can get him on here sometime.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe we could. I know that he's a tad bit older than me, maybe about 10 years, 9 years. I think he's like 46 or something like that. He may be closer to 50. But he has got some very good points to make. Another one I can throw out is KJ Osborne, or The Scariest Movie Ever. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Me too, as well.
Yeah, I figured we probably have some of the same people. But I'm gonna have to go. Did you? Yeah, you added me to circles. I'm gonna have to go through your list. I think that might be the easiest way to do it. Really, just go through the list.
I look. I mean, I do watch some Christian stuff, but I don't like. I take my own perception, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, that's all I can.
And I seem to follow more the Christians in the truther movement that are not so I go to church every week kind of, and I don't spout out a bunch of Bible verses at you.
Well, yeah, they want to beat you with the Bible until you accept it.
Yeah, I don't just refute. I don't refute the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I see the Bible as like a computer, really.
Yeah, it's there's
old computer.
The Bible for me is layered. Yeah, the Bible for me.
The Bible's from the past. I think it was created in the future, like we create it, like way later.
I think we
create time travel, and then we send it back in time.
You know where I think it's outside of time.
But that's my own perception.
I think that the things that are written down there are so unique on so many levels that you can go and read something a week ago and go back and read the same thing and find something absolutely new and wonderful out of it. It's ever changing, but yet stays the same. I believe that it was handed down and given outside of time. I believe it's timeless. And I believe that
that's because Saturn's time.
Yeah, and yeah, we're stuck in a time cube. Now, go back to the holographic reality where we're in a matrix. We're in a temporary holding tank, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you can go back and listen
Allegedly.
to Allegedly. We could go back and listen to what Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl year after year. When I started really starting to discover stuff, I started figuring out a lot of the music I used to listen to was referencing this worship, what I call the worship of the cube. The worship, I believe, it's world worship. It's the worship of whatever that this new world order is pushing for. Whatever all of this is, it's the worship of that.
Yeah, exactly. And you know how the new world order is supposed to have its one world religion, right?
Exactly.
Well, I tried doing the research in the new world order to try to figure out what the religion is that they're trying to push on us, and what I come to the conclusion is it's on Saturn because it's always been there.
Well, I always reference back
you know why you don't like religion, or you don't attach to the religion aspect of religion? It's because all religions have Saturn in them.
Pretty much. They've all been, I believe that they've been invaded. I believe that the basic premise
it's hard to say about
been invaded
because they're so old. Not all of them, but a lot of them are so old, and the ones that are really old, they already had Saturn. And if you go into the perception of the old view of Saturn as a god, as the ruler, you find that it didn't have rings at the time, and it actually glowed, So it was like a star in a sense, and at some point it got the rings and lost the glow and became a dark star.
Well, the idea is that
Right?
there
And
was
that was
probably
the
a
golden
planet.
age.
Yes, yes. I believe that there's some
So the
cataclysm.
old religions go all
Yeah.
the way back to when we were, the Earth was not where it currently is. It
Thank you.
was.
I believe we were on a different axis. The equatorial line was in a different position. I believe that there was another planet that existed at one point that now is a giant meteorite belt that flies around in a place where a planet should have been. I
Have
believe
you gotten
that,
into the Zachariah Ascension stuff?
yeah, I agree with
Okay, so
some of
like
the
mix
things.
the idea of Zachariah Ascension stuff, with the Tiamat story and the Nibiru coming across and like
Hmm.
destroying it halfway. Okay, so then that part, half of that, think of this logically, half of that like planet got destroyed in half. It like got cut in half. So part of it's going off into space, right? And the rest of it keeps on getting destroyed more and more. Saturn's right there, over there. So basically, Saturn can bring the pull of all of those bigger objects and kind of suck it in, right? And then you have the story of the Greek story of Kronos
Kronos,
and
yeah.
Zeus, right?
Hmm.
Having that, giving Zeus some sort of poison, and it like causes him to cough out the rest of his children. So think of all those children as planetary substances,
Yeah,
and the idea of um, this when Saturn or Kronos was like a star, it like sucked in those planetary substances and created that, what we know as the storm. You see how it all kind of makes sense,
yep,
because it would create like a nuclear storm, all of these things hitting the planetary surface of Saturn.
yeah.
The
I
nuclear
think the
storm
well, I
would
think
create that darkness
the
on
rings of
Saturn,
Saturn
and
were
the rings
created.
would be Tiamat, the rest of
Yeah,
Tiamat.
thank you. As that's what I was
Okay,
saying.
yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah,
So then the whole perception of all of that happening and our Earth going from one area of space to another area of space, and then going from one sun to another sun. That's where we got the idea of the two suns,
hmm,
the twin suns. And think about the Mayan story, where they play that ball and they shoot it into the hole. It's
yeah,
represented by that
hmm, yep.
exact event.
I believe, a cataclysmic event happened, and the whole entire solar system was torn asunder. And basically, what was I believe, a civilization that had technology close to what we have, if not more advanced, was completely annihilated. And literally, only a handful of people survived it. And we're the remains of that handful of people that survived that cataclysm.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And that cataclysm would have been that. the
Yeah.
um the Tiamat destruction. And think
Hmm.
about the idea of what we call, or what our history calls, the deluge. There was no
Yeah.
rain. All of a sudden just water, right? So
Hmm.
that's a good way that could be possible. As if
Yeah.
the earth got cut in half the water goes one side, goes flying on the other side.
It could be. Yeah.
And
But
then that associates with the story of the golden age. So
yep.
when you put it all together, you have, that's why they exonerate Saturn
Yeah.
as their, because it's the original.
It's followed through from a large society that I think even were traveling the stars at one point. And when this devastation happened, when that small number of people survived the cataclysm, started repopulating, they carried stories along, and languages changed, and the stories seemingly were described differently. And what a lot of people take as mythology actually has very factual basis to it.
Yeah, like in a science way.
Yeah, and a lot of people disregard
And
the
NASA
old Greek
changed
myth.
it. They
Oh yeah,
basically said, "Oh no, it's this way, not that way."
yeah. Have you ever checked out Crow 777?
No, what's that? Is that a
Uh,
person?
it's a YouTube channel. A guy is really
Oh, a
turning some
channel.
heads.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I think it's CRROW 777. And this guy has got like I don't know, I'm gonna throw out a number. I think it's like 70,000, maybe $100,000 worth of telescopic equipment that he's got hooked up to his computers, and he's shooting shots of the moon and the sun, and he is finding all kinds of crap. He's got one where 9 different people on different parts of the planet are filming this thing called the lunar wave, and they're trying to figure out what it is. And he is firmly believing now, from what he's observed, and other people are coming to the same conclusion, that the moon that we're looking at now isn't the real moon. That's somewhere behind the illusion that's been given. That there's something, there's some technology, whatever, we're not sure what it is, but NASA is not telling us the truth about what's really out there and what's going on. It's very interesting stuff he's got, and he's very good. And at this point, I trust him more than NASA, because what you get from NASA is or Google or anybody is an image that literally has been scrambled so badly that you can't see anything anyway. Stuff has been marked out, cut out.
No, you'd have to actually look through like a telescope to see the real thing.
Exactly, and that's what he's doing.
Okay,
And
well then, yeah, that's irrefutable. But you know, it's only him doing it.
No, there are right now, as I count, I think that there's 20 other people around the world that have high-powered telescopes, and they're
Oh,
all
that's not what I
observing
meant.
things.
I meant,
And
I agree that there's like a group of people doing it, but I'm saying it's like, it's not enough for like the civilization to be like, oh,
no,
okay, NASA
no,
is being real.
they would need NASA to come out and say it, because they've been programmed to believe that NASA is the only truth and nothing else can be the truth.
Exactly.
They think NASA is
Maybe we
the
could
end
talk
and the
about that
beginning.
next time. A
Yeah, we
little
could
bit
talk
more into
about that.
NASA.
Yep,
Um,
and
I'm gonna
yep.
have to shoot this. I mean, head out. So, like, do you want to finish up your final thought, and then I'll finish up my final thought?
Final thoughts. We're being lied to, folks. Start waking up. Look outside of the box. Don't be afraid. There's a real world out there to be found.
Awesome. Well, it's great having you, Haplo, and good conversation. It's been a pretty good show as far as I'm concerned. And thank you, the viewer, for coming on. It was nice talking to you as well. We didn't get in an argument or anything. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
So,
not my plan, and I never will
I
be.
know, me neither, man. You know, but you know, that's just me. I don't like argue with people just generally. So,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
been proven not to work. But anyway, yes, awesome. And yeah, just throw me an invite. I'm usually home in the afternoons, like I am now, and I usually have a couple hours. I can sit around and exchange ideas.
Okay, awesome. Well, you
All
have a
right
good
then.
day.
You too. Talk to you later.
Bye. And remember, do your research.